final.
And their opponents, shooting on target number 2, representing Indonesia, Diananda Shormisa, Titik Kusumawardani, Renza Octavia. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Tiflidu. Well, there you have it, 2 extra nations.
So here we go, the lineup for the second quarterfinal. Mexico line up with world number 56, Ida Roman, the world number 15, Alejandra Valencia, and the world number 36, Ana Vasquez. Indonesia line up with the world number 163, Diamanda Choynisa, the world number 588, Titik Kusumawardani, and no world ranking, the 20-year-old Reza Octavia. So Indonesia versus Mexico, and it'll be the Mexicans to shoot first. First up, it's Alejandra Valencia. Ida Roman, the most experienced of the Mexican team, shooting in the middle. Drift out into the 7. You can hear the coach communicating with them. And here's the youngster in the team, 20-year-old Ana Vasquez. Just into the 9 there, so 24. A little bit of a spread. So Choi Renisa there with a 9 to get things underway for Indonesia. Indonesia already looking just a little bit more centered. Kusumawardani also in the 9, looking very comfortable. And here is Octavia in the middle. I know it's early doors, Nikki, but a really solid start from Indonesia. Can they benefit from the other team shooting first to get an idea of the conditions?
Yeah, you sometimes can, and they probably watched the match before this as well. They've all come off that practice field over onto this main field here to see if there's any different conditions, and they'll adjust their sights for that. So most countries choose, Mexico being the highest rank, would have chosen to shoot first, and that's useful if we go to the tiebreak at the end, because most archers would rather shoot their arrows first and let their opponent shoot against them.
Roman's second arrow going right as well as her first. So Vasquez up to finish things off for Mexico in this first set. And 49 is the total for Mexico. So big opportunity here for Indonesia. So 44 is their current total, chasing after 49. Fraser Octavia into the 9, and it's a cracking start from Indonesia. They take the first 2 set points. Perhaps a little bit of an upset already on the cards, Nikki.
Yeah, I think Mexico are definitely the favourites here. They've got such an experienced team. Ada Rahman, silver medalist in London. Alejandra Valencia, 4th in Rio. And Anna, also a world champion silver medalist. So they're a hell of a team. They're a fantastic team. And they expect, I think, really to be going to this Olympic Games in Tokyo. So does that expectation bring a lot of pressure for them? That's the key here, isn't it? So we would think they're going to win this match, but as I always say, anything can happen.
Yeah, underdogs, Indonesia. I mean, they boast a silver medalist from the Asian Games, all the way back in 2018. Very difficult to gauge form given the fact there have been very few competitions as we've started to return back to archery. So it's very difficult to pitch form, but you definitely say that Mexico are the favourite in this, and perhaps the pressure is getting to them. Ida Rahman shooting 2 7s, both going off to the right. Is that an error of technique, or is it an aiming error, do you think?
I couldn't see anything, seriously wrong. I think the first arrow from Alejandra went left. I wonder if Ida then over-aimed off right, so I think she just needs to get herself back into the middle.
Well, Mexico find themselves 2 set points to 0 behind as we go into the second. It's back to Alejandra Valencia, the 26-year-old world number 15, to shoot first in the second set. He's gone out into the right-hand side 7 again.
It's a really interesting layout. Good shot here. We can see those feather flags behind the targets. I mean, they're very sensitive. They move quite a lot. The archers can see that in their peripheral vision as they're aiming. But there doesn't seem to be much happening up there.
8. 8 las 12, arribita. No, estaban a buena altura a la derecha. Venga, Pau. Vamos a meternos ahí. Venga. Actitud. Grandes, fuertes.
You can hear the coach trying to just give Ana Vasquez a pep talk, and it's worked. 25 through the first 3 arrows for Mexico.
Enfocadas en su tiro, enfocadas en su forma. Buena sensación, buen disparo. Venga, venga.
That's got out into the 7, Kusumawa Danny. Quick shot into the 9 and a 26. And that, at the halfway stage, puts Indonesia a point ahead. Now, Mexico really have to find their form here. There we go. Alejandra Valencia finding the center of the target for the first time. To the 8. It looks to me like the youngest member of the team here, Ana Vasquez, is making herself a bit of a de facto leader. Congratulating Valencia with her first 10. Talking Rahman through her shot, and then finishing off with a 9. 52 set by Mexico. Indonesia on for a 56 here. That takes a bit of pressure off Octavia. 7 to draw level with Mexico in this set. Anything more and they'll be 4-0 up. It's into the 8. It was just about what they needed. A 53 plays 52. Didn't look like there was anything requiring a measure there. Nikki, Indonesia just shooting better.
They really are. Yeah, they're on form. They're shooting well. I just thought, Mexico, halfway through, after they shot the first 3 arrows, the body language of the team just they looked defeated. They really did. And, they obviously came back in that second segment, but they've got to really get themselves back into this. Where's the laughter, the fun? This is a team we normally see having a bit more of a fun and joke and playing a bit more. So I know this is serious. This is serious stuff, but you've got to stick with your normal routines, the normal way you perform as a team, and I'm not sure they've found that balance yet.
I think you're right, and it's curious to me that Ana Vasquez, who is the youngest member of the team by 6 years, is the one that sort of, if you like, being the conductor. She seems to be able to have a more friendly or a certainly more happy conversation between her and her teammates. The other two just seem a little bit tense, Valencia and Roman. And they're running out of arrows here.
Yeah, I mean, Ida's one of the, sort of comical archers on the tour. Really, she's fun. She'll come up to you. She'll have a giggle with you all the time. So she's just under immense pressure, and they've got to get dialed back in here. They've got to win this set.
Well, there are the smiles you talked about. And now you can hear Ida Roman talking to Alejandra Valencia, who will kick things off in set number 3. Mexico staring down the barrel of the gun here. 4 set points to 0 down.
9-8 a las 8. Bien. Un toquecito abajo. Venga, Ida. Bonito disparo. 9-8 a las 2. Bien. Sigues un poquito a la derecha. Un toquecito arriba también. Vamos a compensar la Pau.
2 quick arrows from Roman and Valencia. Bought Vasquez a little bit of extra time. And look at that. By far their best shooting at the beginning of the set. A 28. The first set they got 24 through the first rotation, 25 in the second. Now this just puts a tiny bit more pressure on Indonesia.
8.
Párense. Buen disparo, firme.
Well,
Segúrale. Ligeramente
look at what
compensado.
happens when you put a team under pressure. Indonesia has shot 28 and 26 through the first rotation in the first 2 sets. That was a 25, but Valencia out high left, but communicating immediately with Roman.
I think the wind just changed slightly there. We saw the feather flags just switching to the left, but as I say, they're quite sensitive. Is that how much information is that giving you? How much do you need to change where you're aiming?
Well, communication worked. A 45 they're on at the moment. A 10 would put immense pressure on Indonesia.
Levantas con 10. Venga, Pau. Profundo el movimiento. 5, 3, 2.
So they were just, they were just starting to run out of time there. Finish on a 54. Indonesia, well, they can score 55 here with 3 10s. Now this would be a remarkable finish for Indonesia. There's one. Kusamawa Dani with the pressure on her now. Trying to pull that one by the looks of things up into the 8, which means this set has got away from them. Reza Octavia will still want to finish with a good score here. She pushes it into the 8 for a 51. So Mexico are back in the match. They've scored their first set points, still trailing by 4 set points to 2. But Nikki, you called it. There was an air of relaxation, and all of a sudden, communication came back on the Mexican side of the shooting line.
Yeah, I think it just opened up a little bit for them. They were able to put that good first 3 arrow segment in, put that bit more pressure on Indonesia. I think, you know, they've just been fairly relaxed with it all so far, and, you know, that really changed the game. But look at the conditions just now. Look at the wind picking up. Those feather flags are starting to move a bit more. You know, this stadium is unpredictable, and there is stormy weather in the air, so things can change quickly, and those archers have really got to communicate well to make sure they're aiming exactly where they need to, you know, in accordance with what's happening with the wind.
And would you say with if the wind does pick up as it has done, and if it continues to do so, that it's actually a little bit more in the favour of a more experienced Mexican team?
I mean, it can go either way. Sometimes it's really windy, it opens the field. So if we had a perfectly still day, you know, the best archers in the world always rise to the top. When the conditions start to change a lot, that's when it really opens up and anything can happen. So I don't know, I think it's going to put a little bit more uncertainty on the match, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we can say for sure is that Mexico have found their rhythm again. They're still in a difficult spot here. They can't afford anything other than a clear win in set number 4. 4 set points to 2 down. They need to win this one outright. Can they start as well as they did in set number 3? On the line, I think the coach called it an 8.
Muy bien, así. Venga, Pau. Buen disparo. Usted sabe cómo. Bajó un poquito el aire. En el 9. Buen disparo. Bien tirada. 8.8.
So 26 for Mexico here. Perhaps wind related. I've talked about the wind picking up. Let's see what the response from Choi Renisa and team will be for Indonesia.
9.
Venga, venga. Visualizo mi siguiente disparo, me preparo, me enfoco.
All of their arrow holes, if you look at that target face to the left, you know, they've got to communicate that as a team. Get those across, get them a bit more centred, they're going to score more points to groups.
Quick arrow from Reza Octavia, and she's put it into the 10 ring. So a 1 point lead for Indonesia at the halfway stage. Valencia into the center of the target. 2 very important arrows now for the Mexican women's recurve team here. Their place at the Tokyo Olympic Games in the balance here. Ida Rahman into the center. 46 so far. A 10 from Vasquez.
Bien compensadito.
will
Venga.
put the Indonesians
Levantas
under a
con
bit of pressure here.
5, 3, 2. Yes.
Oh, a great finish from Mexico, a 56. And you can see the change in atmosphere on that side of the shooting range. 57 possible for Indonesia here, but they need 3 10s. And that has already put this one away. Mexico have staged a remarkable comeback after a nervy start to the match, going 4 set points to 0 down. They fought their way back and will be all square with Indonesia after our regulation arrows. And Nikki, as you said, still drifting off to the left-hand side.
Yeah, they've just got to get themselves centered up. You know, they've got to use these arrows now to make sure they feel, you know, they know where to aim. They're confident in this shoot-off that we're about to have.
Well, finishing with a 10, but the set points have gone to Mexico after our 4 regulation sets. It's 4 points. Nikki, you love them. Explain them.
So we're into a tie break. So each archer is going to shoot 1 arrow. Okay, we're going to alternate team to team, 1 arrow at a time. And then if they tie on score, obviously the highest score will win. But if we tie on score, it will go to the closest arrow to the middle.
And Mexico will shoot first.
They will shoot first. They shot first. They were the high seed. They chose to shoot first in the beginning of this match, so they will shoot first again. And like I said before, that can put some pressure on your opponent. You know, get out there, get a good 3 arrows, and then, you know, that puts a lot of pressure then on your opponent. So most people choose to shoot first.
Yeah, well, we're looking back at how Mexico staged a remarkable comeback. Indonesia looking very comfortable at 4-0 up. But it was 3 such important arrows from Mexico at the start of the 3rd set that turned this match around. Mexico have leveled things up. The momentum is very much with them. The atmosphere on their side of the shooting line has changed. There is Ida Rahman in the middle. Looking back to what we're used to with her, not so much of the tension, a little bit more relaxed. The team smiling and talking to each other. The momentum surely is with Mexico here.
Yeah, I think being 4-0 down and then coming back to push this to the tie, they've got to have the momentum. They've got to be feeling good about this. It was theirs to lose and they came back. So, you know, I think they've got to have the swing here, but anything can happen. That's what's so exciting.
Yeah, and with the changeable conditions, I mean, we hope for the fairest way for this to be concluded and there to be consistent wind throughout. But it has been blowy here in Paris this weekend. They're cleaning the target faces, new fresh faces in there in case we go to a measure. But first thing we're looking for is the highest score over 3 arrows. Mexico will get the shoot-off underway. Win, and you're still in the race for the last 3 Olympic spots. Alejandra Valencia will shoot first for Mexico. A big yell from Ida Rahman.
Pointing to the right, aim to the right, I think.
Ooh, close, but I think that might well be out. And in the 9. What can Ida Rahman do here? That's what she could do. Put it into the X ring.
Protocolo de tiro, protocolo de tiro. Buena sensación, buena sensación.
Kusuma Wadani here. Needs a 10, I feel.
Enfoco en mi disparo, en mi tiro.
Oh dear. That has gone very wide indeed, and a 16 here. So a 7 from Ana Vasquez, the 20-year-old, will put Mexico through to the semi-finals. It's 3 10s, 2 X's, and Mexico are through to the semi-finals. What a comeback from them. Such a nervy start from Roman, Valencia and Vasquez, but they pulled it all together in the third set. A final arrow from Indonesia looks like it's clipped the line. You've got to feel for the Indonesian team, who shot so well at the very beginning.